In a surprising and bold move that's grabbing global attention, Kenya has launched a brand new initiative set to change its position in maritime defense, a project centered around the acquisition and development of military-grade submarines. Yes, you heard that right. In 2026, the Kenyan government, under its newly expanded maritime defense doctrine, is officially exploring the undersea frontier with a plan that could completely redefine naval operations along the East African coastline. This new military submarine project marks not just a shift in defense priorities but a major technological leap for a nation that has traditionally relied on surface-level naval operations. So, what exactly is driving this change? It begins with strategic necessity. Kenya, bordered by the Indian Ocean, has over 536 kilometers of coastline, an asset that has remained underutilized in terms of underwater military capacity. With growing regional threats, international maritime disputes, piracy concerns, and resource competition in offshore zones, the need for stealthy, powerful, and flexible undersea assets has never been more pressing. In 2026, the Kenyan Ministry of Defense, in collaboration with international defense partners, finalized a procurement and co-development agreement aimed at bringing submarine warfare capabilities to the Kenyan Navy by 2030. This plan includes the phased acquisition of diesel-electric submarines that are not only cost-effective but well-suited to operations in the shallow and warm waters of the western Indian Ocean. Kenya's interest in submarines didn't emerge overnight. Behind the scenes, feasibility studies had been ongoing since 2022, with inspiration drawn from regional powers like South Africa, currently the only sub-operating African nation. Kenya's top defense strategists concluded that the future of naval deterrence lies beneath the waves. As a result, Kenya is now preparing to induct its first-ever submarine fleet, with a focus on training, technology transfer, and regional security impact. The initial plan includes the acquisition of 2 diesel-electric attack submarines, most likely from countries like Germany, South Korea, or Turkey, known for producing cost-effective yet powerful platforms like the Type 209, Type 214, and the Turkish Race class. These submarines are compact, agile, and capable of extended underwater endurance through air-independent propulsion systems, making them ideal for coastal patrols and silent reconnaissance. Let's dive into the specs that Kenya is looking at. While nothing has been confirmed officially, sources suggest that the Kenyan Navy is aiming for a submarine classed with a displacement between 1,800 to 2,200 tons. These subs are likely to be around 65 meters in length, capable of carrying up to 30 crew members, and outfitted with 6 533mm torpedo tubes. These tubes can deploy heavyweight torpedoes, naval mines, and even anti-ship missiles. This armament provides Kenya with an unprecedented capability to strike or monitor targets discreetly, without even being detected. Furthermore, the planned submarines would be outfitted with sonar and surveillance systems, enabling long-range tracking of ships, submarines, and unmanned underwater vehicles. Kenya is also exploring the integration of domestically developed or African-sourced technologies to maintain regional control over its undersea missions. A crucial component of the 2026 submarine project is the development of a specialized naval base on the Kenyan coast, most likely Manda Bay or near Kilifi. This facility will serve as the home port for the submarines, complete with advanced maintenance stocks, sonar calibration ranges, and simulation-based training centers. Investments in infrastructure are expected to reach over $500 million by 2028, funded through a combination of defense budgets, bilateral aid, and private defense investments. Now let's talk training. Kenya is currently sending its first batch of naval officers and engineers to partner countries with established submarine operations. Countries like Germany, India, and South Korea are providing the curriculum for underwater warfare tactics, crew safety protocols, emergency escape operations, and technical maintenance. The training program is expected to run for a minimum of 24 months, after which the crew will be certified to operate Kenya's first submarines. But why is this project significant for Kenya and Africa as a whole? For one, it signals the evolution of African maritime defense capabilities. With only South Africa currently operating submarines, Kenya would become the second African country to enter the undersea domain. This shift would drastically change power dynamics in the Indian Ocean region, where control of maritime checkpoint, fishing zones, and seabed resources has become fiercely contested. Moreover, Kenya's submarine program could serve as a deterrent against piracy and illicit trafficking along the East African coast. Submarines offer a unique form of stealth surveillance. They can loiter near high-risk zones without being detected, capturing data and intercepting threats before they escalate. For example, pirates operating off the Somali coast often use satellite phones and small vessels. Submarines equipped with passive sonar and signal intelligence systems can track these communications and boat movements in real time, sharing this information with allied navies and security forces. In terms of regional cooperation, Kenya is using this submarine project as a diplomatic tool as well. By partnering with countries like India, which has a strong presence in the Indian Ocean, Kenya is strengthening naval alliances that can counterbalance rising Chinese influence in the region. India has already shown interest in joint submarine training and technology sharing with Kenya, a move that would benefit both navies in terms of interoperability and coordinated patrols. Economically, the project is already creating opportunities for local industries. From dockyard expansions in Mombasa to the training of technical experts and engineers, the ripple effects are being felt across the defense industrial landscape. Kenya aims to localize at least 20% of the maintenance and parts manufacturing by 2028, building the foundation for a self-reliant naval engineering sector. Critics, however, argue that Kenya's focus on submarines is premature. Some suggest that the funds could be better spent on surface vessels, drones, or cyber defense. But the Kenyan Navy believes that the long-term strategic advantage of having underwater capabilities outweighs the short-term costs. They argue that with rising maritime competition for oil and gas reserves, Kenya cannot afford to be left behind. And there's another element to consider: future upgrades. Kenya is already planning ahead for the possible induction of unmanned underwater vehicles, UUVs, that can be launched from the submarines for reconnaissance or mine-clearing missions. These drones will provide real-time imagery and sonar mapping of the ocean floor, assisting in both military and scientific missions. There are also rumors that Kenya is exploring modular submarine designs. These designs allow rapid upgrades by replacing mission modules rather than retrofitting entire vessels. This approach keeps operational costs lower while ensuring the submarine remains adaptable to new technologies like electronic warfare suites or lithium-ion batteries. Now let's address the regional impact. With a submarine fleet, Kenya gains strategic depth, allowing it to monitor vast ocean areas, safeguard shipping lanes, and project power beyond its borders. It enhances Kenya's ability to participate in multilateral operations, peacekeeping missions, and anti-terrorism patrols. Countries like Tanzania and Mozambique are closely monitoring Kenya's progress. Some even speculate that Kenya's move could spark a new regional naval race in the East African bloc. The African Union's Maritime Security Committee has already started consultations on how to integrate Kenya's submarines into the broader regional security architecture without destabilizing the balance of naval power. On the international front, Kenya's submarine ambitions are drawing attention from NATO, AFRICOM, and the Indian Ocean Rim Association. These organizations see Kenya as a potential anchor in safeguarding key sea lines of communication and countering illicit trade and terrorism at sea. Discussions are already underway to involve Kenya in submarine rescue drills and regional submarine detection protocols. As the project moves into its next phase, Kenya is expected to unveil a submarine prototype or training mock-up by late 2026. This will be used to familiarize naval crews with interior systems, emergency procedures, and underwater maneuvering, all within a controlled environment. It's not just about buying submarines anymore, it's about developing a full-spectrum submarine force, complete with doctrine, logistics, training, and regional cooperation. To conclude, the 2026 Kenya military submarine project is more than just a headline, it's a milestone. It represents Kenya's determination to modernize its forces, secure its maritime interests, and step into a new era of silent strength beneath the waves. Whether this gamble pays off will depend on execution, regional diplomacy, and how effectively Kenya integrates submarines into its broader military strategy. But one thing is for sure, Kenya has made a loud statement by going underwater. And as the world watches, this East African nation might just redefine what maritime power looks like on the continent.